This was a quick sketch I did of Usopp, just kind of screwing around, seeing if I could put together a quick sketch of a manga page. But remember to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook for more artwork like this.
The One Piece, Chapter 71, Lords of All Creation.
Well, hello and welcome, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the wonderfully woven epic tale of One Piece. Our last chapter left us with kind of a bomb being dropped on us. Usopp had been rescued from one of the fishmen by Nojiko, and we find out that she is Nami's half-sister. And that is how the chapter ended, and that's how it begins. Usopp and Nojiko are talking, and Usopp's just like taken aback. He's like, I can't believe that Nami is one of Arlong's pirate crew, right? And she's like, yep, well, she is. And she goes, what's your business with her anyway? And he says, well, nothing now. Now I just want to find my ship and get the hell out of here. She deceived us, And he's really pissed off because he's like, she stayed and helped me fight, against this terror that was trying to take over my town. And I cannot believe that she's this, evil person. But so anyway, he, says he's going to look for the ship. So Nojiko goes and kind of points out the window and says, "Oh, that ship over there." He sees a clear path to it, docked. And they kind of show a quick map, which is nice because I always like to have an idea of where everything is. And as it stands, if you look on a map, at the westernmost point of it is Arlong Park. And then I guess that would, so that's if you were looking at the map, it would be the westernmost point. And then there's a Cocoa Village, and then there's docked somewhere in between there. There's the ship, the house, of course, that he's in, this kind of secluded and outside of the village. And then there's Gosa Village, which is, of course, the one that was taken over. So they have a brief exchange as far as what's going on and how he hates Nami now and blah blah blah. But then it goes and it takes us to Arlong Park, and inside of Arlong Park, we see that the prisoner Zoro has been brought in and been brought before Arlong, and of course they're questioning him. What are you doing here? And he says, I told you, you half fish, you half fish, half human, whatever. I'm here for a woman, looking for a woman. So he warns him, Arlong warns him not to call him that. He says, fishmen are evolved, they were evolved from humans, and that they can just now, they're stronger and they can now breathe seawater. So basically they're evolved, and that's and he said, and fighting against them is like fighting against nature. So then Nami goes and appears, and she's like, you know what, I'm tired of that crap, hearing that nonsense from you, just stop it, okay, because it's a stupid theory that you have. So he goes and he says, oh, but I'm not talking about you, our master surveyor pirate Nami, And Zoro's like, what the fuck? It's Nami, right? He sees her, And then she goes, well, yeah, that's the, she goes, because my brain actually works. So because he said, oh, we're just different. She goes, no, my brain actually works. So this whole exchange goes on, and Zoro's just kind of like, what the hell? So he goes and he's like, really, you're with them? And and then of course Arlong says, what, you know him, or you're in cahoots with him? And she says, no, I took his treasure and he followed me. And she goes up and she says, I assumed you'd follow me, but I didn't think you'd make it this far, And so he goes, so really, so you were basically bullshitting us the whole time? And then Arlong goes, yeah, this is our cold-hearted witch. She even forgave the death of a parent, for money. And you see this, and she's got her back to Arlong. She's looking at Zoro, and you can see the look on her face. She looks very angry when he says that. So I think that more of that's going to be uncovered as we move forward here. But I think there's a little more than meets the eye to that whole backstory of what he said about how she forgave the death of a parent for money. So I think maybe she did, but I think it was reluctantly, or that she felt she had to for some reason. So we'll find out. But so anyway, they go back and forth, and he's just like, I never trusted you anyway. I thought you were rotten from the start, and she's like, yep, that's me. Now you can just turn around and go on back because there's no reason for you to be here. I'm a cold-hearted pirate that took you for a fool and blah blah blah. So he goes and his hands and legs are bound. Okay, he's kneeling down in front of Arlong, and there's like a pool behind him or whatever in this Arlong Park. And he goes and he just kind of dives backwards into the pool, and splash, And they're like, what the hell, And somebody's like, what happened? Did somebody push him? And then one of the other crewmen, of Arlong's crew goes, did he slip on a banana peel? And so then somebody's like, he's trying to escape. And then they're like, no, he can't be trying to escape. No one can swim with their hands and legs tied, And you're thinking, well, Zoro must be a real badass, right? So Arlong goes, oh, yeah, whatever. Screw him. Let him drown, right? So Nami goes and kicks off her shoes and jumps in after him. They're like, Nami, what the hell? So she goes and pulls him up, and she's like, you idiot, what the hell were you thinking? So Zoro goes, and he was thinking the whole time, right? He knows that she's not as cold-hearted as she was playing herself out to be. Zoro goes, if you're such a cold-hearted witch woman, why would you be so concerned with saving a lowly human like me and my life, right? So, so she's like, oh, really? You're trying to make a fool out of me now? And he's like, oh, no, stupid, I just almost died. So she goes and she goes, yeah, it looks like those are some fresh bandages, And he says, no, I just ran out of clothes to do, or had to do laundry or whatever. So she goes and nails him right in one of his wounds, And remember, he's still pretty beat up from getting his shit kicked in by Hawkeye. So then Arlong asks, what should we do with him, Nami? And she says, just throw him in jail. I'll deal with him later, And you can see that she's not all bad. She's trying. There's more, like I said, there's more going on than what they're showing here because, she clearly saved him. And is now continuing to try to save him. So, anyways, it then goes to one of Arlong's henchmen walking up to Arlong, and he says, "What is it, comrade?" And his henchman says, the one with the long nose, we were chasing him, but we lost him. We think he's in Cocoa Village or near Cocoa Village. And Arlong says, "Oh, okay, great. I have business there anyway, right?" So and you can see that Zoro's, oh man, Usopp got caught too, right? Or he's been found or whatever it may be. So we then go in and we kind of flash in the next panel to Cocoa Village, and some of the villagers are like, oh, Arlong's coming, and somebody's like, what? Why? We just paid him his tribute a few days ago. You shouldn't be here. And then somebody's like, well, he's probably coming because of him, and they say, hey, again, and it kind of cuts off, and all of a sudden Arlong's there. He's here. And then we go and we're introduced to him. We see Genzo, this villager. And apparently, I guess these villages, there's like 20 villages, and this is all explained over a course of a couple pages, are under the protection of Arlong and his pirates, which basically it's like organized crime, and it's pretty much like with the mafia. It's similar to that where they say, okay, we'll make sure that we don't, or anybody else doesn't rob, burn, rape, or pillage you, but you have to pay me money every month or every week or whatever. So that's what they got going there. But they also seem to have some kind of no weapons policy because he goes up and we see, too, this is kind of neat because we see how much bigger the fishmen, or at least Arlong is. Arlong looks like he's about 9 or 10 feet tall. Okay, he's just huge. And even when everybody mentions, oh, wow, he's huge, right? So this guy is definitely going to be a beast to deal with. And it just looks like a menacing, huge tyrant. And he goes and he says to this Genzo, he says, you're the one that had the sword a few days ago or something like that. And Genzo's real cocky about it. And he says, yeah. He goes, what, a guy can't collect things? Like I'm a collector of swords. Who cares? And then that's when he goes into his whole monologue about, well, weapons are dangerous, and they encourage people to. And what it is basically if the villagers have weapons, they may go and decide to rise up and turn against him and go and try to wipe him and some of his fishmen pirates out. So that's probably what he's trying to keep under control. So while this is all going on, we go in and it kind of flashes back to inside the house, up at the top of the hill or whatever, just outside of Cocoa Village, and Usopp can see what's going on, and Usopp goes and he's like, oh wow, he's huge, and he's looking at him. He can see Arlong, and so him and Nojiko are looking, and of course he's trying to hide from him. So we then go and very briefly, and this is what ends the chapter and ultimately the volume. So it's definitely something where you want to dive into the next one right away. It then goes and it flashes back in the last panel. It goes and it shows shows Nami, and it shows Nami go and cut the ties on Zoro on his hands, the rope, and then she says, you're free, get out of here. And you're like, what? That's how the chapter ends? Are you kidding me? Really? And really, that's about it. I mean, other than Arlong, kind of giving his whole thing about how he's going to be the king of the East Blue, and everybody's got to pay their tributes. That's how it wraps up, though, with us kind of being left on a cliffhanger. Of course, Luffy is not there yet with Sanji and Yusaku, but we know that that's probably going to happen soon. That's what I'm hoping for in the next volume, and I'm just waiting to dive into the next one. Certainly looking forward to it. Let me know what you think, brothers and sisters. in the comments down below. Certainly feel free to hit the thumbs up if you think that I deserve it. And, of course, subscribe if you haven't done so already. We're looking forward, I know at least I am, into diving into the next volume, Volume 9. And we're cruising right along over here. So we'll catch you in the next one, Nation. As always, thank you for watching, brothers and sisters. Be sure to subscribe and take a look at some of my other videos. Thanks. See you next time, Nation.